Hello everyone, I'm Sarah and I'm still here. So I'm just gonna do, I can't really say I'm gonna do a quick update because I actually never know, but I am going to do an update while I color my hair. So I've already actually lightened it and you can see a little bit of yellow banding just in through there. So I want it all to be this color, so I just need to tone inside here for a little bit and also kind of update what's been going on. Actually not much, which is why I haven't posted in a while. I haven't had chemo, I think now for 6 weeks, so I'm actually on chemo right now, and I get unplugged tomorrow. So I just had kind of a respite, a break. I think I've had a few trips to the ER, just to kind of try and get things dialed in a little bit, make sure that I'm not having any blockages, making sure that I'm staying hydrated, all of that stuff, excuse me. Not sure why my voice is going out right now, of all times, but anyway, so not a whole lot going on other than just the frustration of going into the hospital to do my labs. Excited to do my labs, excited to go in and get the chemo just over with, just get through it. So my doctor lowered my dose. Apparently my dose that they had me on last year was on a false weight. So when I was first admitted and diagnosed up at Davis, I was having incredible swelling. So like 50 pounds of swelling. And so I had ascites all through my belly. And so that was the weight that they had based my chemo on, which was like 180 pounds, which is not me. Anyway, so somebody finally clued into it, and I can go with a much lower dose. And even though while I was getting the chemo yesterday, I was feeling kind of yuck, but the nurses are really good here about giving me pre-med, so I kind of just nap through most of the chemo, and I don't really notice it. Slept well again last night. I mean, I've been sleeping now. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've been mostly in and out of sleep for the last 24 hours. So definitely catching up. But I just find it's just easier that if you're not feeling great to just kind of sleep it off and get through it. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Jeez. Anyways, so life's been going really good. I've been able to work. I have still dealing with some fatigue. I'm not really sure what that's about. A little bit concerned about something going on besides cancer in my lower bowels. So having some bleeding and some pain and some fatigue and just overall just malaise. So we haven't quite got to the bottom of that yet, no pun intended. But, in the scheme of things, not that big of a deal. Like I've said before, I still have a surgery that I have to go through. So kind of like to find out all of the things that need to be worked on. It's like taking your car to the shop. You want them to check your brakes and, change your transmission fluid and check your timing and make sure that everything's okay and kind of like look under the hood and get all that stuff done. So I feel like when I have surgery, I want to know about all the things so I can have them get fixed while they're under the hood. Anyways, I'm very, very excited. At the end of April, excuse me, my gosh. Wow, the end of April. Oh my God. Can I even talk? Okay. I'm doing a road trip up to Washington, and I get to stay up there thanks to the graciousness and generosity of some friends. I can't even say friends, there's like family. Family, but not family, if you know what I mean. And so they're going to let me stay up there as long as I want to, but I'm planning like 6 weeks. Considering moving back to Washington when all the surgeries are done and the cancer is done, and the bulk of my health care here in California is done. So maybe next year. But I want to go up for an extended amount of time because it is really, really easy to forget how gray Washington can be. And I just want to know if that bothers me at all or not. I mean, I am pretty spoiled with, living mostly in, like, it's middle of March and it's been sunny for a week and beautiful here, and the summers are gorgeous here, and even the winters, as snowy as they get, are still really, really sunny. So, I'll check it out. Also, see if I can drum up some clientele while I'm up there and pay for my trip, which would be huge. Actually considering going into another industry and retiring from what I do, which is body work and rolfing and manual therapy, myofascial specialist, that kind of stuff, which I really, really love, but I've just been doing it for so long. And one of the realizations that I had this past year that I can't rely on my body to make money for me. Which I didn't really mean to say it like that, but I mean, I can't rely on trading my physical labor for money anymore. So starting a new chapter on that. I'll keep you posted, maybe on this page, but maybe on something else that has nothing to do with cancer. But when I've said before that cancer changes you, cancer changes you, and I always follow that with cancer changes you if you let it. I don't want to go back to my old way of being, and I don't think that that's going to happen. I'm ready for a change. I mean, I'm not even ready for a change. I've changed. Now I have to deal with it. Now I have to reinvent myself, and that's really just a wonderful blessing and a wonderful opportunity, even though it's incredibly scary, which I'll get through, and astrologically I'm a Taurus, and we like to be comfortable and secure, and change isn't our favorite thing to do. But I've actually found that I don't really have too much of that Taurus trait. I actually do really enjoy change, controlled change, which is what I'm doing now. So thinking ahead rather than just having it happen to me and being stuck. So being proactive about, what I want to do with my life and how I want to treat my body from here on out. That's another big factor is, making sure that I don't go back to the old familiar self. That sort of, in my opinion, is a big component to what caused the sort of dysfunction and disease in my part of the body that it did in my bowels. It's pretty self-explanatory that when you have, something going on in the part of your body that processes nourishment and typically trauma emotions, insecurity, abandonment, fear, all that kind of stuff. Kind of those vibrations live in the lower part of your body. And, you know, I try not to get too woo-woo about it, but I do know, as I've said in my videos before, that, you know, I do believe that while some of this might just be unlucky genes, or it might be lifestyle, part lifestyle, I do believe 100% that a big component of it is emotional. Just being in fear. You know, I was stalked by my husband during our entire marriage, which I didn't know, and then I continued to be stalked by him for the next 5 years after our marriage was over. So I think we were married for about 9 years. So it was close to 15 years of like always looking over my shoulder and always kind of being in a place of fear. Just, yeah. It's a long time to be in stress, and I just dealt with it, and I'm a strong woman, so I did. And I did the best I could, and I definitely had some major breakdowns. And then, unfortunately, after that marriage to that guy, I ended up in another relationship was equally, if not worse. You know, my first marriage, I knew that if he was away from me, that he wouldn't hurt me. But when he got me alone, he would. My second relationship that I got into after that was, in my opinion, worse. I never felt safe, even if he was not around, or if he was, you know, no amount of time would pass. There wasn't enough time that would pass that he would let it go or let me go and not try to put me in jail or run me out of town or mess with my business or mess with the things that were important to me. And there's just weird thing about living in a small town. And if you get into a relationship with like a sociopath or narcissist, like they have this weird thing where they want you to leave town. Like that's their big victory, you know? And I just was so stubborn, especially, you know, with my first husband. I came up here into this small little mountain town to get away. And, you know, he ended up following me, and I allowed him 100% to follow me, and because I was still not 100% confident in myself. And there was a part of me that thought maybe if we were in a different place that we could be friends and we could still run our company together. We had a fairly promising, we had actually a very promising biotech startup at that time, which unfortunately, you know, went poof. Where was I? Oh yeah. So I've been kind of staying in this town, and as much as I love it, and it's a really incredible, beautiful place, you know, I was so stubborn to stay here because I didn't want to let anyone scare me enough to make me leave town, make me like leave the place that I loved. And I found out, I probably haven't mentioned this in any of my videos, but about a month before my diagnosis, I found out that he had actually left and gone back down to San Diego, where we were from. And I felt a huge sense of relief, of course, when that happened. But it was a month later that I was diagnosed with cancer. Like, it was all of a sudden safe for my body to process what it needed to process. And that's why I've always looked at what's going on in my body as a cleansing, a healing. You know, I'm not healing cancer. Cancer is healing me. And if you let it, it'll heal you or it will destroy you. And it will heal you in a really, really, really big way. Like most major health issues, you know, that plus being and I promised I would never say this, but, being midlife, being in the middle of my life, and sort of seeing, now conceptualizing my life as being like, I have half of it left, it's not half over, I have half of it left, so, that would put me at 90, which would be great. Actually, that would put me at 94. That's probably good. But, that's also still a long time, and it's also strangely not a lot of time at all. And really just because you don't know. When you're young, you're not aware of your mortality, typically. Some people are, of course. And when you get older, you get smarter. You become more wise. You have 0 F's to give, and your time becomes precious to you, and you don't spend it with people that you don't like, and you don't spend it with people that fulfill you, that you fulfill each other. You don't work in a job that you don't like. You don't tolerate boredom. What else wonderful happens when you get into your 40s? I'll be 48 in 2 months. So, that puts me at 96, so, yeah. Anyways, just talking about half my life. But anyways, I think I'm going to leave it there. I think I have about 20 minutes to let this process, and yes. Anyways, whatever you have going on, I certainly don't believe in the sort of toxic positivity that people talk about. I don't think that it's toxic. I think that it can be. There's a sort of toxic denial, I guess. Positivity, but I would rather be in toxic positivity than to be in the depths of hell and not seeing a way out. I'll take, fake it till you make it any day over that. I've been down. I still get down, even though I'm so optimistic and so, confident and sure of myself, and I have a very, very clear vision for what I want to do for my life. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do yet, but I know that whatever it is, it'll be something that I want to do, and I'll get, pleasure and passion and satisfaction and fulfillment and all that kind of stuff. But, I don't think, on the other side of that, I don't think that just, this whole shadow, that you need to do all this shadow work stuff. I think that's just going to naturally happens. I don't think you need to go there, and I don't think you need to stay in that place of, trying to go back and I know past life regression kind of stuff has been helpful for people, and I've done it, and it was helpful at the time, but it also kind of wasn't helpful at all. It was like, okay, well, great. I was some peasant in Ireland in 1845, and died in the potato famine. Okay, great, awesome, good to know. That doesn't help me now. Or just going to a therapist every week to talk about your problems and that kind of stuff too. And therapy is really important, and I've always been a huge advocate of it. But I think it's a place, like anything, that if you go to any healing modality, that you don't stay there forever. Of course there are exceptions to this, but if you're going to your chiropractor for 1.5 years and you're not getting any better, then that's probably not the modality for you. If you're spending years in therapy and you're not changing and you're not really making big strides, then look at something else. I'm, as a body worker, I have to, sometimes let clients and patients go because I take them as far as I can go with me, and then sometimes I have to pass them on, or maybe not schedule them as much, or sort of lead them in another direction. Where am I at? 20 minutes, 20. I think that's it for now. You'll see the update in my next video. Hopefully, I got the right toner, but I think it'll work. I'm going to go put a plastic bag over my head. Not in a bad way. I'll be back. Not going anywhere. So, anyways, if you're going through stuff, just hang in there. It gets worse before it gets better. And then it gets worse, and then it gets better. And then it gets worse, and then it gets better. And then it gets better. And then it gets worse, and then it gets better. I think that's how it works. Anyways.